Good morning everybody. Today's tutorial is going to be how to get ready for your favorite holiday or a trip out of town. So we're going to start with a standard classic suitcase. This actually does go in an overhead bin, or if you're lucky enough to go on a long trip, just ship it and go. So I'm going to start with some men's t-shirts. My husband loves when I do his packing for him, so I do have some ways that make it easy for him to get access to his clothes and make sure they're not completely wrinkled, because who wants to iron when they're on holiday? My secret to t-shirts is I like to do more than one at a time because I think it softens the crease. So once they're ready, I usually do it face in, and the reason for that is if anything should get a little dirty or a mark on it, wouldn't it better to be on the back than on the front? So I like to do this. Actually, that looks quite pretty, doesn't it? So, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to move up and gently roll, not a tight roll, because you want a soft crease. So another great suggestion is on a shirt, a dress shirt like this, if you're going out somewhere, you don't want to have to pull out the ironing board because that's so boring, isn't it? So my suggestion is just put a couple of layers of tissue in here. And normally I would be using white tissue. The nice thing about using tissue is if you're actually meeting friends or going to someone's house, you can use the tissue later as in your gift bag for your hostess, which is always a nice way to utilize it. So we're going to fold it in again softly. And these might seem like big rolls, but to be honest, they take up so little room. Once they're in there and packed properly, you'll actually be pleased that you spent just a little bit of time doing this. So a little fold up like this, and then a soft roll. It's almost like rolling out pastry, actually. Quite therapeutic. So we have a pair of men's shorts here. Before you start to do the actual folding and wrapping, I like to get all the zippers up and the buttons already in place so that they're actually in their natural resting shape. So on these, I would take just like this and fold in half. So the crease is down the back. And then because this has a pocket, I would just leave it as like that. So like the pocket's now rolling up with the shape. So once again, I'm doing my clothes now, yay. I like to do the heavier things at the bottom. So I generally put my more delicate dresses and tops on top so that they're not being crushed by toiletries and heavier clothes and shoes. So here are a couple of t-shirts that I've chosen for my trip. Same thing, same principle, just you can do them back to back if you like, or face down, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do the larger one on the top and spin it around like that. So it's almost inside. Rearrange the sleeves just ever so slightly and fold in gently on both sides and gently roll. Can't go anywhere without a jacket. Never go anywhere without at least a wrap, a jacket, or a couple of scarves, because when the temperature drops, nothing more miserable than being cold when you're out. And you can always wrap this around your waist or throw it in your handbag if you don't need it, but invariably I always need some kind of jacket when I'm out of town. So this is a nice jacket because it really goes with everything. It's super soft and you can actually dress it up or down, and it takes up no room. So you could have this in your handbag and whip it out when it gets a little chilly. Little tank top, great for under the white jacket, nice to put with a pair of shorts or a pair of jeans. Really super simple, and you can actually use this, to be honest, to pack inside a hat if you had to, because it's so small. And the nice thing is I do it this way up to the neck, so that when I drop it out like that, there's no crease in the top. Any creases are going to be lower and they're going to be hidden by the waistline. So I always roll towards the top of the piece. Can't go anywhere without our favorite pants. And I have decided to take on my trip black and white because they go with absolutely everything. You can dress these up with heels, or you could just wear a pair of flip-flops on a cozy tank top or t-shirt with these, or in the white jacket. That would be a great look with either color. So super simple, fold them in half like you do with the shorts. But on this occasion, we're going to do a little bit different. We're actually going to roll downwards towards the bottom. So I'm laying them on top, and we're going to roll from the waist down. and all the ruching's down here, so it doesn't matter if that creases whatsoever. So that's your 2 pairs. I probably should have done the black on the outside, to be honest, but that's a good thing to remember. Keep your darker colors on the outside so they don't get dirty. But watch, when you undo them, there's no crease on the top, the crease is in the bottom, which therefore doesn't matter because usually your waistline's hidden behind a t-shirt. I've chosen this kind of slinky little blouse because I think it's great if you get invited out with friends to maybe sit at a country pub somewhere, and you don't want to be dressed up, but you don't want to be casual either. So this is nice because it takes up so little room, and it really is terribly feminine and pretty on. This I would wear with the white pants, of course, even white shorts, or even some tan, because there's a tan line in here. So we're going to do a straight line on the cross over, and make sure that the line of the sleeve doesn't go past the seam of the shoulder. And there's a reason for that, because once I fold it in, you don't want like a severe line there. So you should always make sure it just hits right along the line of the seam, like that. It's the small things that make a big difference. So here we go again, lay out, because when you undo it, you want it to fall back into shape again. So just that little few seconds of smoothing out little wrinkles make a big difference. So we're gonna bring this all over into the middle. And so now we don't have like a weird little line on our wrist when we open up and meet friends. We're back here. So we're gonna do the same thing. I'm doing the crease lower towards the waistline because that will drop out. And then obviously this area here, because I'm making sure all these seams are nice and smooth, it lays really flat. And one of the first things I do when I get to my hotel room, presuming I'm staying there for more than one day, is pop it straight out. This is actually perfect for travel because it's completely lined. And pockets. I forgot to mention in the last thing is, sometimes if you're taking something really special, like a beautiful satin dress or something, the best thing to lay in the back would be a dry cleaning bag. There's something about the heat or something, it just is amazing. It's like magic. So anything super special, I would use a dry cleaner's bag and lay in just like you would the tissue. I'm going to use tissue blue. I'm using blue because you can see it a little easier. Same thing. You're just going to bring this over. Now, the secret here is the sleeve. You don't want the sleeve to look all smushed up when you're there. So lay the sleeve up like that. Like it's coming up and out. Pull the legs out nice and flat, and then bring this side over again like this. And then bring the sleeve back up again. So see how flat it is? So once you have that on, it's going to drop nicely back onto your arm. We're also going to do the same thing. We're going to roll from the bottom, gently. And now you see how the sleeve is now completely protected on itself like that. If there are any small creases, you can always put these kind of in the bathroom near the shower area, and the humidity from the shower will take out any last wrinkles that may have happened on the trip. Who doesn't love a beautiful sundress? You could actually use this as a cover-up at the end of the vacation when you've already worn it maybe once or twice. But this is great to wear with flip-flops, with this big sun hat. So obviously you don't want this to be a hot mess with all the tassels. So we're going to lay our dress down like this, nice and flat. I'm going to bring this over like this. I'm actually not sure. I might actually do this differently. I might do halves, only because that seam will hide. There we go. So we're going to bring this in half, make sure the tassels are all facing down. And roll this way. Make sure all the little tassels are down, and then once you put it in here, it'll be secure with all the other things nudging up against it. So this might actually be one of my most favorite pieces I'm taking on my jolly holiday. It's so fabulous. I'm actually going to, before I start folding, I want you to see it. It has these fantastic wide leg culottes and pockets. Thank you, Deanna. We love you so much for doing that. Super fabulous. Looks great on every person. It really does. It looks like a lot of fabric, but it's so soft and it drapes incredibly beautiful. Definitely take one of these on your next trip. So we're going to actually do almost the same theory as we did with the tassel dress. We're actually going to fold it in half like this. And because it's tie-dye, it's really forgiving as far as creases. So it doesn't matter that the main seam is going to be, because this doesn't matter because that's on the inside, and this doesn't matter because that's on the outside. So really, we're actually going to fold it in like this again. In like this again. Scoop down, fold, fold, fold. See how tiny that is? You can't believe it, right? You can put it in your handbag. So thank you for coming along to this tutorial. I wish you were coming with me, but it's time to go. I have a plane to catch.